Okay, a very good question was asked, and that is, how do I run this and execute this in a development instance?
That was my
Say,
question.
that was Raj. It was an
Thank you.
excellent question by Raj and stuff, who was clearly clueless, didn't know what was going on. So no,
That's not.
no. Actually, it's a really good question, and I've done this enough that there is a good, easy way of doing this. So let's assume you have a file. Typically, you have a file that is in production that failed, and you want to run it in dev. Because usually we're not running our jobs from the client in production. So first thing to do is to connect with MFT and grab the file you want and then download it to your desktop locally. So because when we're running our jobs on the client, we're running them locally. We're not running them on the server. So here you can see that I have users. I have a folder that's basically a Paul temp folder on my machine. So for you Windows guys, C:, foobar, who cares, whatever. So I'm grabbing that file path and I'm putting that into a notepad. Now in this case here, here's the worker file that I grabbed. I'm not really going to process this, but it's going to show you kind of the approach. And this approach is true for all of the processes that use the MFT context process this file. So you remember that when the job here gets created, that right here context component, that context process this file is basically the local directory path. That local directory path is the path on the server, wherever it's put, and then this input base name, which is the name of the file that it just got down. So if this is just to run automatically, you really don't want to run the process component. You just really want to say, I've got the data, I just need to execute this. So when you're testing a job for organization, appointments, security groups, roles, anything, you really don't need to get that file. You've got it down. You don't, and the reason that it got separated into a process and populate was process executes the get and executes the populate. The populate component now says, okay, I'm assuming the file's already down there. With that, what's really nice is process this file. This context variable, there's a neat little hidden piece under here.
Prompt here.
If you open it up, you can see that for the default context, it's set to prompt. And if you needed to flip it to prompt for development, you could. And notice it has the question, process this file, question mark. So we're running in the default context. We have pulled down a file, and I have the local directory path on my machine, and I have the file name. Now, quite honestly, this would fail in this situation because this job and this file are the wrong pieces. But I would take this and put this in my buffer, and then I would run the job, and you can see that the prompt happens. Make sure you put the quotes in and before it, and then hit OK. Now it knows to look on your desktop to populate. This file has the XML source for this process. You don't have to get it because you manually already got it. Any questions?
No
That's
questions.
it, sir.
It's clear. It explains. Thank you.
That too will be on the final exam next week.